You read
Two
that
cool.
already.
Sorry,
I
already
already
done
said
that super chat. Sorry. I wish Ineos could do a Houdini and bring Klopp in. Well, that brings us on to Klopp quite nicely, actually, because Jurgen Klopp is getting a lot of stick today from Dortmund fans who says that he has ruined his Dortmund legacy because he has joined RB Leipzig. There are even some Liverpool fans that are calling him out because for years, Jurgen, just like he used to moan about people spending loads of money and then he spend money, he basically attacked and slandered and slagged off the multi-club model. Now he is head of soccer at RB Leipzig. Do you think this is highly hypocritical of Jurgen Klopp to join a club whose model he's attacked, who are also huge rivals of clubs that he's alleged at? Do you think this is hugely hypocritical and disrespectful from Jurgen Klopp?
No, it's not hypocritical or disrespectful of Jurgen Klopp. He's not the manager of these football clubs. He's the sporting director. So he's in a role where he's upstairs, which is completely different to the roles that are, more in charge of the players and stuff. He said he's not going to be the manager of any of the clubs, and he isn't the manager of any of the clubs. He said he's not going to be a manager anymore, and he's sticking to his word. Also, Red Bull Leipzig is not a rival of Dortmund. Dortmund's rivals are Schalke and Bayern Munich. If he were the sporting director,
hang on. Let me stop you a second. But that's not what that you can't speak for Dortmund fans. Dortmund fans are fuming. Everybody in Germany is a rival of RB Leipzig because their model goes against the German model, and they are disgusted with it. I know he's not the manager, but he's in a role that is trying to improve a club that competes against a place he's a legend at. How is that not disrespectful?
Listen, I hear where you're coming from, but
if he becomes the Man United sporting director, you telling me that isn't disrespectful to Liverpool?
Man United are Liverpool's rivals. That's different.
Okay, if he becomes Chelsea's sporting director, then
that's another Liverpool rival.
Arsenal, then?
No, I wouldn't say it's disrespectful if he's the Arsenal sporting director. Why would I say that?
Well, I'm just asking.
Now they're going to say that he's twerking for Arsenal. No, we're just not rivals. Listen, Jurgen Klopp obviously said he's not going to go into management, and he isn't going into management, to be honest with you, not in the Premier League, not anywhere else. Sporting director, I don't think is a role in which, people get praised or criticized per se to that level anyway. It's all the scrutiny comes down to the manager. And we also need to remember that Pep Linders is the manager of Salzburg, his former assistant, which is one of the Leipzig clubs. One of the Red Bull clubs, sorry. So his former assistant. So just have some shame. It's the Salzburg manager.
You do realize he's going to become a manager again, right? You do realize everything he said to you guys.
German national team.
Yeah, I think he's going to manage another big club. He might not come back to the Prem. I think he'll manage a Barcelona. He might go around. I think he's going to manage a big club, a giant club.
I hear if you think
this is like a holding position for him, so that he can like slowly worm his way back in after saying he retired.
Yeah, that's fine by me. For me, it's all about whether the club that he manages. Like if he manages Barcelona, that doesn't affect me. He can manage Barcelona.
What if he manages Arsenal, bro?
No, but he's not going to manage Arsenal.
What if Pep stays, right? Arteta leaves because he doesn't win the league, and they get Jurgen Klopp to win them the league.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Why?
Because I believe I hold the man.
Jose Mourinho said I will never manage in Italy again, and he managed Roma. He said I will never manage in England. No, he actually said I will manage in England if Man United job is open.
But he went to top as well.
But he went to Spurs as well. You know what I mean, Osam? You're too emotional about.
Jose already gave you the answer. It's because Chelsea sacked him. We never sacked Klopp. He left on his own terms.
You're really taking this into like heart, like, oh my God, he will not.
Taking it into heart. I'm just taking the man for what he said.
So you believe everything he said?
Yeah, he said he's not going to manage a Premier League club. I have no reason to call him a liar until he proves me.
No, I hear you on that. I want to ask another question about Klopp because it came up on TalkSport today. Mo, has Jurgen Klopp been overhyped in English football? And do you think that he underachieved as a manager?
No, he didn't. He actually, like Liverpool were crap before him. Liverpool were not like at that, bro, like when football, yes, didn't start in 92, but Liverpool has stayed 30 years. Yes, they were near the top, of course. All these years, they were always in the semifinals of the Champions League. But Liverpool haven't won before Jurgen Klopp a lot. They won the Champions League in 2005. They reached 2007. But before him, they were garbage. Like basically, the fan base started to shrink. Nobody's watching them. Nobody cares about Liverpool. which happens to a lot of clubs. And he came in, changed the culture of the club, up and like from everywhere, literally took them back to the top. The fact that he lost leagues, that doesn't change anything about him. Like he actually, I think he actually achieved. He literally won the Champions League, the Premier League. By the way, he improved a lot of players. He made Salah world class. He made Mane world class. He made Van Dijk. He made all these players. I don't think he underachieved. I think a lot of people like to undermine what Klopp has done at Liverpool because they are looking at the period where he managed. If you just look before he managed, you will understand how good of an achievement he did. And Jurgen Klopp did not sign superstars. He made superstars as well. Like, he signed some players that were good. Like Alisson was very good at Roma, Champions League semi-final before that. But I think people just hate Jurgen Klopp. I think he's not an elite manager like Pep Guardiola, Alex Ferguson, basically. But I think he overachieved because I'm just going to tell you something, Terry, to be honest. He made Liverpool relevant again in the world. He made them relevant, and everyone knows that. Liverpool fans know that. They were irrelevant. They reached a point where people don't take Liverpool seriously in the league, in the Champions League. He made them relevant.
Yeah, where I feel a bit, I know what Hassam's answer is already, but I'm going to say this about Jurgen Klopp. The only stat I read of his today where I was a little bit like, oh, that's not a great achievement, or maybe it's a bit underwhelming, but then you have to look at others. I looked at his career from 2012 until 2024. He reached 14 finals and won 7 of them. So he had like a 50% ratio. When you look at the major finals, so FA Cup, Pokals, Champions Leagues, and the 3 major ones, and Europa League finals, I think he got to 10 and only won 3 of them. So you could look at his final record and maybe scrutinize that. What do you mean?
Champions League, 2 Carabao Cups, FA Cup.
No, I didn't. I said major trophies. I'm talking about in his, including Dortmund career here. He got the 10, only won 3 of them. So he won 1 Pokal with Dortmund, but lost 2 finals. He won 1 FA Cup with you, and he won a Champions League final with you. He lost the Europa League final with you. All the other major finals he got into, he lost. Aside from that, I think that Jurgen Klopp has had a bit of an Andy Murray, is what I would call. Do you boys know who Andy Murray is?
Yeah. The tennis player. The guy that was at some point the best player, but because there was Federer and Nadal, he just couldn't win.
He was world number 1 for about 18 months, and he won three Grand Slams, and he was an exceedingly good player. He was just a level below the 3 GOATs of the sport. But he just, if he was 10 years younger or 10 years older, it's likely, not provable, but likely he'd have won anywhere between 3 to 5 to 10 more Grand Slams. He was that good compared to it was nearly always one of those guys that knocked him out as well. Rarely anybody else, which is unfortunate. I just think Jurgen Klopp, when he came to the Premier League, a bit like Wenger, when it came to Fergie, you were just up against one of the, I put him into a world-class category, Jurgen Klopp, because he's won back-to-back league titles in his career and he's won a Champions League. He's a great at this sport. But he's not in that next category up of like the God-level managers, the Peps, the Ancelottis, the Fergies. I think he's one stage below them.
Paisley's.
But Paisley's in there. Of course he is. Shankly, Busby, and a few others. He's just in that level below. But he also just, if Klopp came in, if the majority of his 9 years was between the summer of 2013 and 22, I think he'd have won 2 or 3 more league titles with Liverpool, as an example. If Pep leaves tomorrow and then a younger version of Jurgen Klopp turns up and does a decade, he actually might win 4 or 5 of the Premier Leagues and have that level of dynasty. So I saw the question on TalkSport and I wanted to bring it up today. I thought it was really disingenuous of Simon Jordan, if I'm being honest, because they had a big debate on there around what success looks like. And of course, success to Liverpool is, in the end, in the cold, hard light of day, is trophies. But when it comes to your success, you have to also look, especially when you're a winner in that environment, who you were competing against as well. You know, as you say, if you imagine being an Olympic 100-meter sprinter and you picked up some golds in relay, loads of silvers and bronze, but literally you're the same age as Usain Bolt and that's who you were up against. Are you really a loser? Even though, like, some of the guys who are the 2nd and 3rd fastest ever in the world didn't get gold medals because Usain Bolt was beating them, right? But if they were a bit older or a bit younger, they'd be winning all the golds. So I think sometimes you have to contextualize your success. And as a United fan, I don't like saying this, but I will. The idea that Jurgen Klopp underachieved, I don't think he did. I think he achieved everything he could for a manager of his level going up against just a better version
with that ownership as well. That's the thing.
Of Pep Guardiola. There's nothing more I think he could have done to have got more trophies away from Pep Guardiola. It was just
the arguments for Pep and Klopp are in reverse. The argument for Pep is, I wish he goes to manage like an AC Milan or a club like that. Not a club that's like, let's say Pep goes to Italy tomorrow. Everyone here knows the club he's managing, Juventus. Managing the richest club in the country. If he goes to France tomorrow, he's going to manage PSG. The problem that Klopp has is he's managed Mainz, Dortmund, and Liverpool. He's never really managed the giant. He's never really managed like a Barcelona, Real Madrid, a club like Bayern Munich. Maybe if he managed Bayern Munich in Germany, he'd have 6 league titles in a row. But we would have never known that because we never saw that experience. We never experienced that. We don't know what he's like. But this is where, even with the Tuchel argument that we had earlier on, degree of difficulty of achievement should always be taken into perspective. Always should be taken into perspective. No one is saying, the Klopp one. The means more thing was true, given what Mo even explained himself. Before Klopp walked into Liverpool, had you told me, yo, Hussam, within 5 years, you're going to win a Champions League and you're going to win a Premier League, I would have laughed straight in your face. I would have looked at you in your face and laughed. Us winning the Champions League, us winning the Premier League, I would have laughed. But we did both. He broke records doing so, etc. He came up, obviously, in the Champions League final against Ancelotti and Real Madrid twice, which is why he lost them. We got robbed against Manchester City once in the Premier League with a Rodri handball. Let's not even go there. But other than that, look, the logic for me is the following. If Jurgen Klopp became available tomorrow, literally, he comes out, press conference, any football club in the whole world can have me, I'm available. Every single football club in the world would want Jurgen Klopp except Manchester City. That's the only club I could say probably doesn't want
No, I agree with you on that. David here says, Terry, absolute bollocks. Why don't you guys apply this same for Arteta? So there's 2 things in that. I think people do. I think I've definitely seen people state that he's up against one of the... I have said that he's up against one of the greatest English sides of all time. It's not like he's up against all those teams that won the Premier League from 2014 until 2018, where there were some good teams, but I wouldn't say any of those teams are ever going to be remembered as like English footballing greats. So it's not like Arteta's in that period. However, Jurgen Klopp, the reason why Jurgen Klopp's getting a little bit more grace is because he did win the Premier League. He did win the Champions League. He won multiple domestic trophies. So far, Arteta has won an FA Cup, which is amazing. But he's got to start adding some of those other big trophies to it as well. So if Arteta wins the Prem this year, and then the Champions League the year after, and then the League Cup, and then decides to leave, some may say, it's been, 8-9 years. He should have got more trophies. But if he's been up against Pep Guardiola in that time, and it was his first job where he was learning, I still think that is very good success. But if he never wins the league, I still think it will be looked at as a very good manager. If say he stays another 3 or 4 years at Arsenal, rightly or wrongly, let's not have that debate now, and he comes 2nd and 3rd and he's like a hair's breadth away each time from winning, I still think there is validity in saying that he's still a very good manager. He could go on elsewhere and win major trophies. He just may not be good enough to be able to beat Pep Guardiola to a trophy. So I think people do apply that logic. What I personally do. However, you can't compare Klopp and Arteta's legacies because Klopp has won multiple league titles, Champions Leagues, domestic trophies, World Club Championships, and he's done it competing against some very, very good managers. And look, I think Arteta has got the ability to get over the line and start winning those major trophies. But until he's done it, you can't put him in the same ballpark as somebody because I think that's disrespectful to the legacy that these managers
ask a genuine
question
question
for themselves. Go on.
What if Klopp tomorrow becomes Germany manager and he wins the World Cup and 2 Euros? Then what?
Compared to who?
With all these elite of the elites we're talking about, if he becomes a World Cup winning manager, then
you could put him in there, but then if you look
because the World Cup would usurp a lot of the achievements.
No, it would. I mean, it would be an interesting debate because most of the managers that have won all the World Cups and the Euros, how many of them have got amazing domestic and sort of club level
not a
CVs?
lot. Not a lot.
So that's why, again, it's hard. Go and do it, and then we'll have a conversation. But that would be very unique to Jurgen Klopp. It's like with Ancelotti. Ancelotti has never defended a league title, which I think is a smudge on his CV compared to the other. We're talking about separating the elite from the elite. However, the volume of Champions Leagues is more than an equalizer. So for Klopp, it may be, remember, you've got 3 league titles. That's still quite a lot. You actually start looking at how many managers have more than 3 league titles. It's a very minute amount compared to all the managers that have ever existed. But you throw a league, you throw a World Cup into that and a European Championship or 2, plus what he's won domestically, then you're probably moving into that category of God level managers. I think you would. That is a very strong argument. Terry, would you take Arteta at Man United right now?
What a dumb question. Of course you would.
Yeah, I would. I would. I would. For 2 reasons. One, I think he could improve us massively. 2, it might damage Arsenal, which, although, oh, but you're an Arsenal fan. No, I don't want them to be good. They just are. And I've got to say the truth as I see it. Klopp is our modern day Shankly. People forget for years we were in the gutter. Yeah, it could be crazy if Slot repeats history and then goes on to win more than...
If Slot is the Paisley. Possibly.
Yeah, Slot does the sort of Paisley
hopefully
thing.
I mean, that would be the best time ever in my life. While being a content creator, let's go. I'm gonna shit on everyone.
This could also do something for Klopp. If Klopp went to a club like AC Milan and made them for 4 or 5 years the most dominant team in Serie A again, maybe made them the first Italian team to win the Champions League since Inter. That, because again, Klopp, like one thing I would say, Simon Jordan did say this earlier when he was talking about modern day managers, is that how many of the current GOATs that we call them, the modern day GOATs, how many could take over a team like Nottingham Forest in the Championship, get them promoted, make them win the league, and then win back-to-back Champions Leagues with them? We know Fergie has done something similar with Aberdeen as an example. Now, I wouldn't quite compare AC Milan to Forest, but taking over a fallen giant who has been in the doldrums for a long time, rebirthing them. I mean, again, that's the type of achievement that creates a legacy, an even deeper legacy. Anyway, on Arsenal.